When I first started this script, it was intended to be a gamer life and Red Dead Redemption 2 video. But as I got into it, I started reminiscing and pondering the elements of perfected storytelling within interactive media. In order to do that, I think we need common expectation to what interactive media is and what storytelling can be. As an old-timey gamer, leveling up my own experience points as video games evolved, I got to watch firsthand as it developed new forms and enhanced its power level further and further. Video games are just digital games. Games are literally amusements or pastimes. Basketball, soccer, football, all games. My first memorable interactive media, I'll have you know, came in the form of a G.I. Joe VCR tape that played out some story mission the Joes had to respond to aboard a water-based operation facility. It was awesome, but mostly because I brought the Turtles, Transformers, and the rest of my action figures along for the fun. I was an imaginative kid, and coming up with explainable reasons for my favorite narrative universes to clash or cooperate was exciting to me. Video games were just a streamlined version of choose your own adventure books, and I wanted more. Now, storytelling has a much looser interpretation, but can we all come to an agreement? A story within an entertainment medium is designed to interest, persuade, or inform its audience. Within a video game, perfected storytelling might be keeping you glued to your seat for hours, but that could be for any number of reasons. Within a perfect story, let's hope it's because the narrative is interesting and exciting, immersive if you will. Let's face it, the story is essential to any well-developed immersive medium that hopes to be called entertainment. Without it, in video games, you're just tapping, holding, and alternating button presses to fulfill some kind of criteria to make your game move. This led me back to a little old game I once played back in '97, LucasArts' Outlaws. Storytelling, correction, great storytelling is what made this game stand out for me. From the setup to the basic hero versus villain plotline, let's not forget about the soundtrack, which I still listen to today. Outlaws presented a well-structured dialogue with its players, while giving them the basic gameplay mechanics they needed to play the game, that being a Western shooter complete with optional online mode. Okay, that was a mouthful, but we'll take a look at this.
Gentlemen, I have seen the future. Where now there are struggling farms, I see a gleaming city rising from the parched plains. A city that has my name on it. Boys, we have ourselves a job to do. There's some as has a problem sharing my vision. They fail to see that selling their land to me will make this county the wealthiest in the state. Well, their time has finally come. You will enlighten them. Go out there and don't come back till I can look at this map and know that every inch of it is mine.
Now, as a kid, back then, that had me invested already. Of course, there are a few story elements I'm not trying to spoil. I hate spoilers, but they also hold up on their own merit even today, I'll wager. But back then, I was already locked in. Throw in a cookie-cutter hero, and you got your basic ingredients for a straightforward shooter. That's Outlaws. Now, let's talk Red Dead Redemption 2. Just 2. The first RDR was a different story, a different experience to itself. It has to be judged by its own standards. We're going to focus on RDR 2, and I'm gonna try and do it by perspective of storytelling and of course gaming. As always, this is Justa Hustle, and if you'd like, hit that button next to like, and we'll just mosey on along. Rockstar Games is relatively known for their legendary storytelling. It's not widely arguable. LA Noire, Max Payne, GTA. These are highly sought after games just for the street rep of, oh, I played that, with your schoolyard buddies or bullies. Rockstar Games had already garnered a reputation of some of the most in-depth Easter egg-filled, bang-for-your-buck, edge-of-your-seat video games, and though it might be reasonably questioned how sound Rockstar's balanced, quality over quantity, or other business standards might be, it is pretty common ground to say their story beats relatively stick to the proverbial wall. Enter Red Dead Redemption 2. From the beginning of the story, you are Arthur, front and center. These are your boots. Now you can take care of them, or you can run them into the ground. It's your choice. Arthur is your rough and tumble gunslinger. Calling him a thug is a bit too harsh, because you can show whichever side of that coin you choose, and Arthur has a lot of character. I chose to explore his more outdoorsman's nature. Nature was discovered. From the lush grass that looks like it might give you a paper cut, to the dramatically changing skies and scenery, RDR 2 is packaged to keep your eyes engaged. The story beats though. Alright, call the sheriff on me now, cause I didn't finish the single player campaign, cause I caught a spoiler for it, and I didn't like the recycled story beats, and well, I just didn't want to play it, period. But Red Dead Online 2? Ooh dog, if I wasn't waiting to get on this one. I hopped on the train on launch date, the online beta, which left me a bit disappointed this time around. So I left the title alone. Became intrigued when it was added to Xbox Game Pass. Acknowledged that it had been a while and improvements had been made, but Red Dead Online 2 was the same experience I had when it launched in beta. Heck, when it was connected to the original game, Red Dead Redemption. Mind you, you can explore so much of the wilderness, it's simply put overwhelming, and the amount of variety and experience to be had along the path. It's definitely hard to say there isn't anything to do, but the experience is a bit limited due to your typical game mechanics. For example, in order to play with your friends, you're going to have to be in a posse. Otherwise, you're going to have to rely on pickup groups through matchmaking. And well, I guess prepare to have a bit of patience. Of course, you can just set up a temporary posse for you and your companions, but even this is not without its quirks, and sometimes you just want to ride out a couple hours with your mates real quick. Pause. So let's get my major gripe about the game up and out of the way. The players. Most times you're dealing with psychopaths and kidnap artists that have fetishes for your horse. Of course, there are settings to alleviate the pressures from griefers, but, well, they're not the most effective. Oh, come on, I hear you. It's a game where you're a cowboy. You're supposed to gun down and rob people. Stop being a snowflake. To which I respond, well, no. As players, we're placed in a game environment that allows us to be Western outlaws. But that really is an oversimplification of what the game could be, don't you think? Video games, as an interactive medium, as well as a narrative representation, allow players to explore, relate, or dispute the technical limitations of their own experiences, i.e., an outlaw can aspire to something more, or continue on the path he set out on. Red Dead Redemption 2 delivers this possibility in spades. However, technical limitations, as well as simply put, ignored or under-considered intentional system manipulation by individual players, makes for potentially bad gameplay. This for me weighs heavily on the experience, and I love to roleplay my game time, which leads me to, can a game be called a game if it has consistent lapses from immersive gameplay? For example, if an hour in, you feel like you're just performing the motions, is it still considered a game? Short answer version is, of course. There are plenty of examples of games that have particular grinds, systems in place to cushion out that playtime, something you have to continuously work towards in the medium. Where does immersion come into play? Does immersion even apply in other forms of entertainment mediums? Duh. The definition of immersion in action is concentrating on one course of instruction, subject, or project to the exclusion of all others for several days or weeks. A state of being deeply engaged or involved. Absorption. You wouldn't sit down for a 2.5-hour film if it didn't keep you at least a bit immersed, or at least entertained, right? Red Dead Redemption 2 Online is akin to that to me. There's something for everybody, but not everything is going to float your hot air balloon. While bounty hunting, trading, or treasure hunting may interest some people, it won't fit everyone, including being an outlaw, and most outlaws are just... So you're all saddled up. You're ready to hit that dusty trail and build yourself a small hovel out somewhere, away from the beaten path. You've already dabbled in the various saloons, ear hustling what'll land you your fortune, but you're still a bit undecided. Like it's true in most of these situations, you can do whatever you want, partner. Everything pays pretty well, and yeah, there's always a sweet gig or two waiting to be found around the bend. But from lobby events, story missions, bounty boards to hunting, there's plenty a cowboy can manage to keep his pockets from being empty for too long, even if the prices for some items seems a bit steep. I prefer the hunt. When it's slow, it's relaxing. When it's fast, it's dangerous and exciting. Just don't be too fast to ride off fishing just because it seems a bit slow for you. And don't ride off racing because people are too aggressive for you. With a bit of luck and a whole lot of balls, you can take on the wily, wild, wild west. Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption 2, for me, is like meeting up with an old friend who you come to find out he's changed a bit, and all his new friends are... You might enjoy playing together every so often, but eventually you realize you might have outgrown that relationship. And for me, narratively, there could be so much more, if not developer-generated, community-based. Cinematically, you'll be coming back again and again, but internal game design might make your online narrative one you wish you hadn't experienced. Now, if you enjoyed this video, felt it helps you out just a bit, or you want to see more content like this, please hit that like button, as it is greatly appreciated and will help us figure out the next moves for the channel. We plan on providing you everything you need to know as a gamer in all the games we play and love, but there's always the chance we've missed something, so please leave us a comment about anything we missed. Let's keep it constructive and contextual, but most importantly, ladies and gents, fun. Not every online game is designed the same, nor should they be. Every game is different, and that flavor gives us new ideas, new experiences, and new stories. I'll just be honest and say I despise when narratives within video games are rigid or create boxes that players have to live in, especially within online communities. Because at the end of the day, we're supposed to do this for the entertainment and fun. As always, this is Justa Hustle, and we out.